The Herd, wherever you may be, however you may be listening. Live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Holly Saunders sitting in today for Christine Leahy, who is out. And Holly brings her vast experience in, and we appreciate that. And she's here for 2 or 3 days until we do radio only on like Thursday and Friday.
Like me to sit here still? I'll be here.
You could. I think Thursday I'm going to be in the studio, but the lights will be off. I'm going to do just radio only. There's some NASCAR.
We look much more handsome that way, don't
no
we?
question. In when the lights are off, I'm like that Arnie Hammer, or whatever they say in Hollywood.
Armie Hammer?
Armie Hammer. Yeah, whatever his name is. Even my wife's like, wow, that guy's hot. All right, so there was a big story yesterday. Let's start with this. There was a big story yesterday. This is not a small story. That Denver is out on Kirk Cousins. Peyton Manning's a legend. He's American football royalty. He went out and recruited Peyton Manning, American football royalty and a legend, and he won a Super Bowl. John Elway knows Denver's won Super Bowls when they've had John Elway and when they've had Peyton Manning, okay? He's not going to spend a fortune on Kirk Cousins. So it's now down to Minnesota and the Jets for Kirk Cousins services. What you read now is Case Keenum may get a deal with Minnesota, that they don't feel there's a huge gap between Cousins and Case Keenum. They like their roster. They're not going to screw it up by overpaying for Kirk Cousins and then have to reduce some of their defensive personnel. Mike Zimmer, the head coach, is much happier keeping the quarterback at $19 million a year instead of $25 and keeping the defense intact. What does that tell you? It looks like the Jets are now the front runner for Kirk Cousins. And they're willing to pay a lot, and they're desperate for a quarterback. I wouldn't pay him this. They're going to guarantee a lot of money. Minnesota's leaning toward keeping the continuity with Case Keenum at a relatively reasonable number, and Denver has said, we're out. And they have the 5th pick. So what does that mean? It means I'm going to re-mock my mock draft. So I had a mock draft last week. This changes everything because now we've got the Combine. We've got the Jets are going to get Kirk Cousins, not Denver. So let's go back to my mock draft. The revolutionary move that's never been done in mock drafts coming up. Just hold on. Okay,
Number one.
Number one, Cleveland smart. Don't believe the smoke screens with A.J. McCarron. They're going to take Sam Darnold. Big, thick, trunky, playmaker, mobile, tough. Number one prospect, smart, alpha male without being cocky, 6'3.5", 6'4". By the way, his numbers went down last year. That's because he lost Juju Smith-Schuster, who was the best young wide receiver talent in the last couple of years in the NFL. Darnold goes number one to Cleveland.
Number two.
Okay, the Giants are gun-shy because last year they benched Eli Manning and the city erupted, and this blue blood franchise freaked out, and the Mara family didn't like the bad press, so they're saying, hey, whoa, we don't want a quarterback. They're going to go with Saquon Barkley at number two. They haven't had a good running back in years. Since Tiki Barber left. You've got a lot of inconsistency there. They're going to get a home run hitter. They think Eric Flowers, the left tackle who struggled initially, has turned the corner. Eli's 37. This staff, this GM doesn't want to rock the boat. Very conservative franchise. They're going to get a home run hitter at running back to go. They have to face Ezekiel Elliott twice a year. With Dallas, they're going to make Dallas have to play against the home run hitter in this draft, Saquon Barkley. Number 3 pick, Indianapolis. They like Barkley too, but there are more good running backs in this draft than there are pass rushers, and they're going to take Bradley Chubb, number 3. Okay, they like Saquon Barkley a lot, but the one thing that Indianapolis saw at the Combine, and what everybody saw, is there's like 8 guys. You can get 80% of Saquon Barkley in the 4th round at running back. Alvin Kamara for the Saints was a 3rd-round pick. This is a very running back-rich draft, and they feel they can get one with later picks. They can't get Bradley Chubb with a later pick, and they have not had an elite pass rusher in a couple of years. And in their division now, Deshaun Watson in their division, a quarterback who can move. Marcus Mariota, a quarterback can move. They need a guy who can chase those guys.
Number 4.
Cleveland, I'm going to stay with this pick. They're going to go Minkah Fitzpatrick, the Alabama safety, who I think is the can't-miss player in this draft. So they'll get Darnold, their leader on offense, Minkah Fitzpatrick, who played better in big games for Alabama. He played as a true freshman. Saban gave him a ton of authority. He was tremendous in big games. He is also a great special teams player. Just like Patrick Peterson, LSU a few years ago, where he was the best defensive player in the SEC and the best special teams player in the SEC. So Cleveland won't even screw this up. They're going to get Sam Darnold and Minkah Fitzpatrick. Great picks for the Browns.
Number 5.
This is where it gets interesting. Denver's going to go and get Josh Rosen. Okay, Denver needs a quarterback. Okay, I thought they were going to get Kirk Cousins, so I had them taking a wide receiver. Because Kirk Cousins is the kind of quarterback who needs a star receiver to elevate. We've seen that. Rosen, like John Elway, young, really, really smart, lets you know he's smart, has a strong opinion. That's exactly what John Elway was. Go back and look at the takes of John Elway out of Stanford, out of college. He had an opinion. It turned a lot of people off. But Elway intellectually feels a vibe with Josh Rosen. He gets Josh Rosen. Okay, he's a 6'4" kid with a beautiful arm. They're going to draft Rosen at 5, and the rest of the draft they're going to go get offensive linemen. So Denver at 5 takes Josh Rosen, and I think Elway sees a little bit of himself. Remember, John Elway coming out of Stanford didn't have massive numbers either. Okay, Rosen is talented, didn't win a ton of football games. The Bruins quarterback goes to John Elway in Denver.
Number 6.
The Jets now get Kirk Cousins. I think the Jets realize they have a defensive-minded coach, Todd Bowles. But if they add Cousins, you've got to give him a complementary threat on the perimeter. He's a C-plus quarterback and has proven he can more consistently be a B quarterback, B to B minus, if you give him a game breaker on the outside. Ridley is your classic Alabama wide receiver under Nick Saban. Julio Jones, Amari Cooper. They've always got one great deep threat. This kid's good on reverses. You probably put him on some special teams. Got good hands, good kid, responsible. Jets go get Calvin Ridley.
Number 7.
I'll stay with Tampa Bay, taking the Notre Dame guard, Quentin Nelson. They have an awful offensive line. There's no other way to put it. Tampa's got good personnel, and they are a mess up front offensively. It's one of the, you don't even have to know football. You can watch Tampa Bay and go, wow, that offensive line's awful. There's about 4 awful offensive lines in football. Tampa has one of them. They're going to get a player many believe is the safest pick in the draft, has 0 busts, Quentin Nelson.
Number 8.
Okay, I'm going to change my Chicago pick. Denzel Ward had an unbelievable combine for Ohio State, the corner. Now, the Niners, I've been told, want him at 9. The Bears are going to take him at 8 because Chicago needs a corner as well. Chicago likes their O-line. Chicago likes their running backs. Chicago likes their quarterback. Chicago believes they can get receivers later. They're going to lock down the best corner in this draft, who had a tremendous weekend. And because of that, San Francisco, who I've been told wants Denzel Ward because they need a corner, they can't get him now, and they don't want the second-best corner. They're going to trade out. This has never been done, John.
Number 9.
My mock draft has a trade in the first 10 picks.
It's actually been done many
Not
times
by
before.
people who I've ever heard of or care to discuss. This is a revolutionary mock draft move.
All mock drafts except for one company tend to do this, actually.
So ESPN doesn't do trades in their mock draft?
No.
I always knew there was a reason I worked there. Okay, so San Francisco wants Quentin Nelson and Notre Dame, can't get him. They love Minkah Fitzpatrick, they can't get him. And they love Denzel Ward, and they can't get him. San Francisco is going to trade down with Buffalo, who has 2 first-round picks. The Bills move up to 9 to get Josh Allen. They've got a small Tyrod Taylor, a small mobile quarterback. They're going to keep Tyrod for a year. They're going to bring in Josh Allen in the snow, in the cold, big, tough, thick, huge arm. Josh Allen had a great combine. Buffalo moves up to the number 9 spot to take Josh Allen. San Francisco acquires more picks to move down to Buffalo's spot.
Number 10.
A guy I've never seen play, Marcus Davenport. But you cannot solve the Raiders' defensive issues in the back 7 with all the players. You can help your back 7 if you put somebody on the opposite side of Khalil Mack, and he's a pass rusher. Everything I hear about Marcus Davenport, he had a good combine, is he is as good a pass rusher as this thing has, except Bradley Chubb, and he won't be available. So let's put it on the board. This is my mock draft. I'm very excited about this mock draft. A revolutionary trade at the number 9 spot, never been done. Is Marcedes Lewis here yet? Get Marcedes, get over here. I want Marcedes Lewis. Jacksonville Jaguars, former UCLA Bruin, in the house today. Okay, there's my goofy mock draft. Go to your combine. So this is all my sourcing, all my stuff. So Jacksonville's not in there, dude, and the reason is because you won a bunch of games. So that's the good news for you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's go back to your combine. Do you think it matters?
Yeah, I think that, for me, there were some questions that they needed answered, and they wanted to see how, as far as my measurables, how big I was. I mean, if you remember in college, I was a guy that caught a lot of passes in college.
You were almost a receiver who played tight end.
Yeah.
So you had to go there and blow them away in the bench press and the size.
Yeah, so I think I benched like 25, jumped like 38 and a half, ran like 4.7, caught everything. All my drills were really good. And, when you're going through that whole process, I was invited to the Senior Bowl. They wanted to see me there to see if I could actually block these guys.
That was the big knock on you.
Right.
You were a soft catching tight end.
Right.
And now, by the way, you're a great blocker.
Right.
What happened to you?
I don't know, man. It's one of those things you kind of, when they say you can't, you go out there and you work at it, make your weaknesses your strengths, and believe in your process at the end of the day, and I was able to do that.
You were. I remember it well. You were a dominating, catching tight end, and now you're one of the better blockers in the National Football League at your position. Let's talk Josh Rosen. I believe strongly in my mock draft. Elway was a cocky, super bright quarterback from Stanford. A lot of people think Rosen's got a little Eddie Haskell. He'll say the right thing. Mm-hmm. He's got political stances. I think Elway's I'm comfortable with that. Because a lot of people, when Elway came out, thought he was this young, cocky kid who kept using baseball as a weapon. Right. You don't draft me, I'm going to go play baseball. So you obviously haven't played with Josh Rosen, but you're tied to UCLA. Do you worry at all about his political stuff, his durability? What do you make of Rosen?
I think, as far as his attitude and the cocky tag or whatever it is, I think that at the quarterback position, I would want that. You have to be tough-minded. And mentally tough to, play that position because ultimately you're the guy, right? And I think he has the ability to do that. I think that, he'll need some size because at this level, them hits, you're not going to be able to take too many of those, and as far as the durability part of it.
That's what worries me about Rosen. Yeah. It's not the cocky, it's the durability.
Yeah, I think he needs to put on some size, but, with the weight program that we have and, at the next level, it's going to be different. He's just going to have to work at it, but he'll be good.
Listen, so yesterday, it looks like DeMarcus Lawrence, the terrific young edge rusher for the Cowboys, got a franchise tag. His quote was, "Good contract, bad contract, I'm happy, love the Cowboys." Le'Veon Bell got a franchise tag last year. He's like, "I'm sitting out of camp."
Not having it.
I believe a franchise tag. Here's what I think it is to some degree. A team likes you a ton, but they got a question. With Kirk Cousins, it's like, let's see what he's like without Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. With Le'Veon, it's like, dude's been suspended twice. We love him. Let's see how he handles this. Why do so many players hate the franchise tag?
You're just not protected. I got franchise tagged in 2011. It was right before the lockout. So I had no choice, right?
Were you pissed?
Not pissed, but I wasn't happy about it. And I felt like if I had a choice, if we weren't going into a lockout, then I probably wouldn't have signed it. But I signed it, and we got a deal done shortly after that. You're just not protected. We want to go out there and be able to, play free. And the franchise tag doesn't give you that ability. If you get hurt, then what? And then it's like, okay, on the organization side, we were right. The franchise tag, because now he's hurt and we're not tied to him. So,
in a locker room, though, players don't love it.
Nah.
Because it's a violent sport. Guys get hurt.
Oh, the injury rate is 100%. So you play in the NFL, you sign up for that. So when, fans are like, "Oh, man, you're greedy," and all of this other stuff, you have no idea. We're literally in a car crash every single day, trying to take care of our bodies just to be good for the next day. So.
Marcedes Lewis, longtime Jacksonville Jaguar, 12 NFL seasons, all with the Jags. So you've had bad Jags, and now you're good Jags. Tom Coughlin, I think, is a really smart guy. He moves into the organization. okay, I could say it's total coincidence. But all I know, Marcedes, is you guys tightened up the screws.
Yeah, he definitely came in and added structure. I think
Okay, so tell me about that. Tell my audience what that means.
structure just meaning in the sense of, he's been there. He knows what getting better looks like. He knows what it's like to win big games. He's won Super Bowls. He has been through it. Obviously being in Jacksonville the first time around, having some success, going away, having more success, and coming back, and look what happens.
Did you sense it, Marcedes? When was the first time? Was it in OTAs? You're like, okay, it's different around here.
Yeah, it was like the first, when he first got here and I went out there for the off-season program, I mean, just as like his aura, just his demeanor, you want to play well and be at your best every single day, because if you don't, you're going to be challenged, right? And I think that, from, the top down, he just sends that message, and I think, that's something that we've grown accustomed to, and we appreciate that around the building, because it's been a while since we've had that.
Marcedes Lewis, UCLA, now with the Jags for 12 years. Brady's getting older. Eventually, Tom can't play football at 57 years old. So you had the game, and then you lose the game to Brady. Were you sitting on that sideline, because you didn't have the ball at the end, and were you just sitting there thinking, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the sideline, and it felt like I was swallowing peanut butter. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't believe that it was happening. Obviously you don't want the ball in his hand with any time left on the clock. But, he went out there and, made the plays that he had to make. And, it was tough because I hadn't been a part of a game like that.
That was your biggest game as a pro.
Yeah. Like, I haven't been a part of a game where I'm like on the sideline and I can't do nothing about it.
And you're watching the best quarterback ever.
Like, is this really happening right now? Like, I felt like I was watching NFL films. Like, it was like literally happening in front of my face, and I'm just like, and back in my mind, I'm just thinking about everything that we've been through, the hard work that we put in. All of my family that I had come from California to go to that game and watch it, and I know they're going crazy in the stands, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean?
It's like NFL films.
Yeah, it was real. Everything, like the people that hasn't seen him play, or just heard about it, or not real football fans, or he is the real deal.
You can sense it with Brady.
When he comes out of the locker room just to warm up before the game, the crowd is acting like somebody scored a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, he really, that is just who he is, man.
You can feel it.
Yeah, no question.
Did you ask for an autograph in between plays at any point?
Nah. I mean, I played against him a bunch of times, and I feel like at some point I'll run into him again, but he's definitely one I want on my wall.
Hey, dude, MercedesLewisFoundation.org, MercedesLewisFoundation.org. This is coming up here in about a week, March 10th. This is your 9th annual Marcedes Lewis Foundation Casino Charity Gala at the Maya Hotel in Long Beach, not far from my house. What is it about?
So about 9 years ago, I started a foundation, and me and my mom started a foundation. It was just to give back to the inner city kids in the neighborhood that I grew up in.
Yeah.
The gala is just another creative way that we do to raise money for the free youth football camp that I give in June every summer. And it's just a time to come out, eat, have a couple drinks, relax, gamble with fake money, and, we have a silent auction. I have a bunch of my jerseys, signed jerseys there, game worn, some helmets, signed, just go out there, have a good time, and just do it for a good cause.
Did you play for Long Beach Poly?
I did.
You were a Jackrabbit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I played, when I was 8 years old, I played for Long Beach Poly Pop Warner. And I just all the way up was a water boy until.
I can't believe you didn't become a hooper.
So I played basketball and football in high school, and then went to UCLA and played both sports for 2 years. And then my body, like, I was 220 in basketball, and then had to put on 25 pounds for football. And so I stopped playing after my sophomore year at UCLA because my body just couldn't take it anymore.
You're a great dude.
Appreciate it.
12 years in the National Football League, total class, Marcedes Lewis. Give me the website one more time.
It's MarcedesLewisFoundation.org.
Good dude. Good seeing you, man.
Appreciate it.
Always welcome on the couch. Every day we come in, we're talking about what went on in the world of sports, but we're really talking about his performance. We're talking about efficiency. We're talking about endurance. You should apply these measures to the products you buy, and that's why we rely on Filter Buy. Listen, when we moved into our house a few years ago, it needed new filters. Take care of them. Filter By is America's leading provider of HVAC filters for homes and small businesses. They have over 600 different sizes, all ship free, all shipped within a day, all made in America. It offers a variety of filters all the way up to hospital grade, gets rid of the mold, the dust, the dangerous pollen, all sorts of aggravating allergy pollution in the air. Right now you can save 5% if you set up auto delivery. Save money, save time, breathe better. FilterBuy.com, FilterBuy.com, all ship free, all made in America.